All right, so before I get started, members of the board, I want to really extend my sincere appreciation for the people back here. As you all know, we are very intentional in trying to make sure that when we present to you all into this community, that it is representative of the excellence that I think you all want us to really do in terms of how we educate our children. And Matt Stansky, your finance team, we don't often have opportunities to recognize them. Can you all stand? Can you please stand? All right, so thank you all. These are the people that have, in essence, protected our school district and has put us in really a solid position, even in what I believe is going to be some dark times for folks, not only here in the state of Maryland, but across this country. And out to our cabinet, we all work together. You'll hear more about that in a few minutes, but I wanted to acknowledge that team. So let's get into the presentation. President Dent, Vice President Pulliam, members of the board, elected officials, community members, families, and most of all, students. I greatly appreciate the opportunity this evening to talk about the work our team is doing on behalf of the more than 84,000 students we serve across our county every day, and to lay out the path I believe we should take to continue our momentum in the coming year. From sun up to sundown and beyond, our awesome team pours passion, energy, and commitment into helping every single student belong, grow, succeed. As a publicly funded entity, our school district asks taxpayers, through the decisions and actions of county and state government, to invest in the work we are doing. Our residents, whether they have students in our schools or not, contribute their hard-earned money, and we promise to use it wisely to better the lives of every single student we are charged with educating. In that process, we are strengthening the very foundations of our communities and helping to ensure that tomorrow's workforce, neighbors, and leaders are prepared to thrive in a globally competitive world. There are those who believe in the misguided notion that school districts are vast wastelands of public funding, black holes where money is poured in and the results do not follow. In 3 years that I have served here as your superintendent, the leaders of our county have, very fortunately for us, not subscribed to that theory. They have instead chosen a far different course, one rooted in the belief echoed by Benjamin Franklin that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. In the last 3 fiscal years, our county executive and county council have worked with us to provide $148 million above the minimum legally required amount. Theirs has been a bipartisan display of faith and trust, and I stand here tonight to say to you with incredible pride that the employees of the Anne Arundel County Public Schools are providing the residents of this county not just with a solid return on investment, but one that is measurable and is strengthening our students and the future of our county. We invested first and foremost in our people, and that it will be a theme, because they are the pillars of everything we undertake. It is their work that has resulted in better educational outcomes for students. Programs don't produce results, people do. I want to be clear that this work and our results are not about Mark Bedell, superintendents come and go. They are about a dedicated team of 12,000 people strong in schools, divisions, and offices across our county. At Crofton High School, for example, 2026 National School Counselor of the Year, Danielle Crankfield, is motivated by an internal drive to provide every student with the ability to do whatever they want in this world. In particular, she has worked to ensure students are aware of advanced placement courses and feel welcomed in them, in the process closing equity gaps in access to those courses. By the way, she's an AACPS graduate, one of hundreds who have come home to serve the school district that helped shape their own lives. At Belle Grove Elementary School, 2025 AACPS Teacher of the Year and Maryland Teacher of the Year finalist Jacqueline Sanderson helps multilingual learners not just with their English, but as she says, in building resilience, gaining new skills, and developing a broader understanding of the world. At MacArthur Middle School, Maryland's Secondary School Principal of the Year, Kelly McVeigh, is creating new expectations, engaging the community and partners, and building relationships to accelerate learning for both teachers and students. Her approachable nature and commitment to excellence have made her a trusted and respected presence among students, staff, and families, and to continue in an effort to drive her school forward. At Four Seasons and Lothian Elementary Schools, custodians Louis Queen and Louis Watkins, with more than 100 years of service between them, do more than make their building sparkle. They are role models who help their students shine as well. At Hillsmere and Point Pleasant Elementaries, Food and Nutrition Services Associates Patricia Turner and Kathleen Brucci, each of whom have been part of our AACPS family for more than 40 years, help ensure that children receive nutritious and delicious meals every day, thus fueling their bodies for learning. And at each of our 47 community schools, stellar program managers build and enhance partnerships with organizations and government agencies that support families and students alike. In the last 3 budgets, we have fought hard for our people. Our county has invested sufficient funding for us to provide the vast majority of our workforce with pay enhancements totaling 18% in that time, decreasing vacancies across our district, and increasing the quality of education we provide for students. We rank second in the state, for example, in salary for teachers on the first step of the career ladder. Increases such as those have helped us see retention rates of nearly 96% for instructional staff and more than 94% for non-instructional staff. These are numbers that are just simply not heard of in many school districts, and most certainly in school districts that I have worked in over my 26-year career. We've also invested in high-quality instructional materials, implementing the Reveal math curriculum in our elementary schools 2 years ago, and following it with the core knowledge language arts curriculum last year. We've invested in a new learning management system, bringing Canvas on board this year to create a single portal for teachers to house lessons and grades, and an easier path for those same teachers to communicate with students and families. We've invested in middle school athletics, restoring an avenue for students that had been missing from our county for decades. From soccer to basketball, track, flag football, unified bocce, we are enhancing school and community pride and providing students with after-school activities in which they need to reach certain academic standards to participate. You only need to walk through a middle school to see the pride this has reinvigorated among students and staff alike. At our secondary schools, we have invested time and effort to eradicate gatekeeping mindsets that have held back far too many students for far too long. You've heard this before, but I will again present it for the record. I stand here as an educator with 3 advanced degrees who was never, ever invited to take a single advanced placement course in the high school I attended. It wasn't because I didn't have the ability. It was because people, for whatever reason, just didn't see it in me. We have to see that it in our students. No matter how our students show up, it's our job to meet them where they are as individuals, show them where they can go, and then help them get there. And here's why. The number of students taking AP courses increased 32% from my first year to last year, offering clear evidence that if we open the doors of opportunity, Students will walk through them. But our students aren't just walking through those doors. They're successfully kicking them down. Over the same time period, the number of AP exams we administered has increased 41%, and the number of exams with scores of 3 or higher sufficient to earn college credit has risen by 54% to where our district now is at 67%. And normally when you add additional students like we've done, you generally have a regression in your data. That did not happen here in Anne Arundel County, and it's something we all should be proud of. The student group data is even better. Enrollment of African American students in AP courses was up nearly 80% from my first year to last year, and the number of exams scoring a 3 or higher was up 181%. Among Hispanic students, enrollment was up 43%, and the number of exams earning scores of 3 or higher rose 127% in that same time period. I want to commend all of our educators, all of our folks working in these offices to really make this a priority. It is paying huge dividends. Some of those enrollment increases have been driven by our investment in providing the pre-SAT and SAT assessments free of charge to high school students during the school day. That has allowed us to eliminate barriers to access, establish pathways to help students take advantage of scholarships and other opportunities, and identify more students with AP potential. Our pre-SAT test takers have gone from 6,800 3 years ago to more than 15,600 last year, a 130% increase dwarfed by the 213% increase among African American students. More impressively, the number of students whose pre-SAT scores have been used to deem them college and career ready under state guidelines has grown from just under 1,800 3 years ago to more than 6,300 last year. We've seen smaller but still notable increases in both data points on the actual SAT. Our free pre-SAT administration also opened doors for scholarship opportunities for our students and helps us to better identify students with AP potential. Those numbers are up by more than 10 percentage points in every category for which we have data over the last 2 years. We've invested in the expansion of opportunities for our students through avenues such as dual enrollment, signature programs, career technical education, internships, and apprenticeships. These options allow students to explore and then pursue their post-secondary pathways of choice, whether in college or directly in a career. The return on taxpayer investment can also be seen in state testing, where there has been improvement in the percentage of proficient students at all levels across our school district. The most recent scores on the Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program, better known as MCAP, showed increases at elementary, middle, and high in English language arts and at elementary and middle school in math. The lone drop came in high school math, where we changed a course sequence in some of our schools to align with the state's course sequence, and we simply did not get the results we anticipated. I've also owned that decision as superintendent. We did get the results we anticipated on the Maryland report card star ratings, and we now have 15 five-star schools. That's a 36% increase from a year ago and a 67% increase from 3 years ago when the current criteria was put in place. But here's an even better indicator. 7% of the schools in Maryland are five-star rated schools. Here in Anne Arundel County, 13% of our schools are five-star schools. In addition, 53% of our schools have 4 or 5 stars, and 95% have 3 or more. That's well above the 86% of schools across the state with 3 stars or more. Those are important, are data points that should stir pride in everyone in our county. Those star ratings are based in large part on academic measures. But there are two other areas that I must mention because they point to the work of everyone across our district to make our classrooms and schoolhouses more welcoming places. MSDE annually administers climate surveys to students and educators that provide data on safety, environment, community, relationships, and instructional support. Our scores are better today in all 19 measured areas than they were 3 years ago. The improved climate and a focused emphasis on attendance are resulting in more students being in our schools on a regular basis. The evidence of that can be found in our chronic absenteeism rate, where the percentage of students missing 10% or more of the school year fell from 25.3 3 years ago to 19.9 last year. Here's one place where a drop in data is actually great news. We all know that the needs of every student who shows up at our schools vary. Sometimes our students simply need someone in their lives who can say, "I believe in you," and help them see the promise of a brighter future. That's why we have invested the time and effort to stand up the Office of Mentoring Services. We provide release time for employees to meet with mentees and have extended the offer to other individuals and groups to make a difference in the lives of our students. We are one of the few districts, if not the only, in the state of Maryland to have such an office in place. Now, make no mistakes about it. There is plenty more work for all of us to do and more improvement we need to make, both inside and outside of our classrooms. Our school district, however, is the one that is being recognized across the state and nation for the work we are doing to improve student outcomes. Our county is realizing great dividends on its investment. I said when I arrived here that I believe we could be a premier school district in this country. And I believe tonight that we are on the precipice of that greatness. This also supports the presentation that we presented to you all on Monday, where we are now on the brink of being a top 5 ranked school district in elementary and middle school, and we are working to move our high schools in that area too. So again, there's a lot to be proud of. It is critically important for everyone to understand that to get there, we will continue to stand firmly on the side of creating brighter futures for every single one of our students in every classroom in our school district. Belong, grow, succeed is not a catchy phrase or marketing gimmick. It is a community-driven mindset that permeates not only our strategic plan, but everything we do every day. Success cannot happen without growth, which is impossible without the development of a sense of belonging in every child who walks through our doors, every person we employ, and every family and community member involved in and impacted by our school system. As we take those next steps, however, we must do so fully aware of the fiscal uncertainty that swirls throughout our county, state, and nation. Over the last several years, we have crafted budgets aimed at long-term sustainability while talking openly about the tougher economic times that were on the horizon. Well, those days are here now. Enrollment across the state is down, and we are no exception. Our official enrollment for the current school year reflects a drop of 771 students. That's not as dramatic as it is in many other school districts. Inflationary pressures are another part of that economic reality. It simply costs more to do business today than it did a year ago. As just one example, we estimate we will need $1.6 million more next year than we budgeted this year just for electricity to power all of our facilities. With that perspective in the forefront of our minds, our team carried out an extensive review of every line of this budget. We asked what was working, what could be done differently, and what could be eliminated. Every recommendation we reviewed was sound and worthwhile. but we just can't ask for everything. We have chosen prudent and responsible courses in my prior 3 budgets, and we have chosen that course again here. The $1.9 billion operating budget recommendation I present to this board tonight recognizes the fiscal constraints that exist, and it focuses on our people and the progress they have helped us to achieve rather than embarking on a slate of new programs. Our cabinet, budget teams, and I cut 75% of the program enhancement recommendations that were presented to us, not because we didn't want to do them, but because we just can't do them. Again, we have chosen people over programs. This recommendation is $116 million more than our current budget, with 49% of that, $56.6 million, allocated to compensation and benefit increases, as well as critical additional positions. There are 205.3 positions in this recommendation, and more than 96% of them interact with students and families every single day. This recommendation contains sufficient funding for a step or step equivalent for eligible employees and a 2% cost of living adjustment for all employees. Now, please hear me on this. I wanted to do more, but not at the expense of having to lay people off. This recommendation does not lay off a single employee here in Anne Arundel County. Let me say that again. This recommendation does not lay off a single employee. And for people who may have a short memory, there were a number of school districts last year that had to lay people off. There's going to be a number of school districts that will have to lay more people off. And we made it an intentional focus as we built out our budget to protect the employees of Anne Arundel County Public Schools. We may have to make some other difficult decisions down the road, but our prudent measures have landed us in a much better place than some school districts around the state and nation. We cannot divert from them now. The compensation package in this recommendation also contains nearly $2.7 million for national board certification stipends, as more of our educators earn that distinction. I've also included more than $510,000 to fund pay increases for temporary support assistance. Our TSAs work directly with students with disabilities and are critical to providing additional necessary support to them. While the total number of students enrolled in our district is down, the number of students with disabilities enrolled in our schools, along with the complexity of their needs, continues to rise. We are serving 11,150 students with disabilities this year, a 17% increase over the number 5 years ago. This recommendation allocates $9.7 million for 82.2 positions, 40% of the total positions we are recommending to help meet student needs. These include 24 positions at our comprehensive schools, 13.8 positions to expand specialized instruction, and 12 positions in our Birth to 5 program. Our reorganization of the Division of Specialized Instruction and Early Intervention Services has been done with the mindset that students with disabilities must be general education students first and have access to academic experiences that are differentiated to their specific abilities and needs. That's why we're realigning part of our developmental center program within our existing resources to open the Marley Glenn Center at Severn Run High School next fall. Students ages 16 to 21 will receive instruction in a wing of the school where they will have access to more innovative programming, expanded curriculum, and enhanced inclusion opportunities as part of a school within a school model that is the first of its kind in the state of Maryland. The new environment will not only maximize college, career, and community readiness while reinforcing independence, but it will provide opportunities for Severn Run students to interact with their peers with disabilities. There are two additional new educational opportunities for students that merit mentioning here. This recommendation includes $4.1 million for the New Village Academy Public Charter School, which will open in Annapolis Mall this fall. I am excited to see how the innovative approach that New Village plans to take and how it will benefit students who have not found success in traditional educational settings. I am also excited about the Carver Early Education Center, our county's fourth such facility, which will open in Crofton in August. I've included $1.1 million for 8.5 positions and other necessities at the center, which will be able to accommodate 120 pre-kindergarten students. This recommendation allocates $12 million to fund mandates under the Blueprint for Maryland's future law. That includes more than $6 million for funding at our 47 community schools, where we continue to forge family and community partnerships that help students socially, emotionally, and academically. We must also continue our work to help develop English learners and assist their families. This is an area in which staffing has lagged far behind the need, and we have been trying to catch up. My recommendation includes more than $900,000 for 10 English language development positions in our schools and $120,000 for the conversion of 6 bilingual facilitators from 10-month to 12-month positions to better assist families year-round. We all know that student success does not happen without support outside the classroom. The work that our Division of Student Services has done and continues to do to address the social and emotional needs of students is critical to the increases in student achievement we are seeing. That work is even more heroic when you consider that we remain above recommended caseload levels for school counselors, school psychologists, and social workers. There is funding in my recommendation for 5 positions: 2 school counselors, 1 school psychologist, 1 social worker, and 1 pupil personnel worker to add to our team in these areas. I will be the first to say that it is not enough, but we must continue to chip away at this issue while maintaining the perspective of the fiscal reality that confronts us. The reality of school construction is such that, much like the electricity expenses I spoke of earlier, it simply costs more to upgrade and renovate our schools than it did several years ago. This board has already given preliminary approval to a $231.7 million capital budget for fiscal year 2027. As you begin consideration of it again in this process tonight, I simply remind everyone that despite the progress we continue to make in creating more state-of-the-art learning environments, we still have the 11th oldest portfolio of buildings in the state. More than 59% of the capital budget, almost $136 million, is allocated to construction of the new Old Mill High School and Old Mill Middle School North, as well as study and design for work at Ruth Parker Easton School, Rivera Beach Elementary School, and Arundel Middle School. Also included is nearly $32.9 million for building system renovations, $6 million for pre-kindergarten expansion projects, and $6.5 million for a critically needed bus facility and lot. This board, our elected officials, our staff, families, and students should be extremely proud of the work we've done and the progress we have made over the last 3 years. Together, we've taken a very good school district and enhanced it significantly. We are thriving, and people around the state and beyond are taking notice. The resources available to us in the coming year may be limited, but our commitment to continue the momentum we have built is not. This recommendation reflects balance and perspective, and I am confident we can meet the challenges ahead and keep our school district moving forward. Thank you.